All right, so let's try to put RDMKIT to use and kind of walk through some of the tools and just kind of freestyle a little site and put things together and walk through some of the ins and outs of using this. So right here, I'm on the RDMKIT site. Let me go over to the all section. It just kind of explains how to set all of it up really quick. And then over here, I have a simple project with one directory, a source directory with a index.js, index.pug, an image, a couple images there, and a style sheet, all right, and a README. So if you kind of look at the structure, it looks like this. All right, so let's walk through some of the things. So first, I'm going to need to install some of these dev dependencies. But I guess before I can do that, I have to npm init. I'm say why. It's just going to say yes to everything. So we've got our package.json set up. So now we can start importing some of the stuff. So I'm going to copy that from over here and let that run. And then throw this one in. And then I'm going to npm install parcel. It's our bundler back here because it makes it super easy to do all this with no configuration. So get that in there. You don't have to use parcel. You can use whatever you want. But for the sake of this demo, this will be the easiest way to get things rolling. So just waiting for that to load. Waiting. While it's going, I can copy these settings for your JS file, and we'll go ahead and paste that in. All right. So we're importing rhythm, and we're evoking it with a class of resize. Actually, not going to use that yet, so actually I think it doesn't matter. If it doesn't find it, it just cancels out. Because I'm using parcel, it's going to set the node.env to development automatically. So I don't actually have to do this on my own. Again, I just love using parcel because it just makes setting things up so easy, especially if I'm just trying to set up like a quick sketch environment. So nice. All right, so these will be active if I'm in a development environment. And then you got this little set timeout where this will automatically display the vertical grid on every page load and refresh. All right, so let's get some. Let's continue with the setup over here. I'm going to copy these styles out of here and paste them in our style sheet. Let's do something silly just to make sure this stuff's working. All right, so we're going to need a background of red if all that is working, and get some setup pug going. Press save. Cool. And I'm going to come over to package.json. I'm going to change this to dev. And I'm going to say parcel source index.pug. And then I want to open this in Chrome Canary, Google Chrome Canary, I think that's what I say. Google Chrome Canary, cool. So let's see if I can get this all going. Clear that out. And I'm going to say npm run dev. Let's see if this works. So it's noticing that pug's a dependency in there, so parcel is going to handle all of that. And boom, got it. So page is displaying our simple text, is displaying what up, and the styles are being applied, and we can see the vertical grid showing up already. Cool. So we can kill this because we know this works. You know, I don't care what CSS we're using, whether it's vanilla, less, stylus, or Sass, or SCSS. I mean, it's all CSS to me. If I have to choose, I prefer to use stylus because I like typing less if I can. And if you just type in regular CSS declarations, those work fine too. So I pasted this in, but then from here on out, I'll just be typing things out in kind of like the stylus flavor of doing things. So I don't have to type all the colons and semicolons and curly braces. Ugh. All right, so got that going. I can close this. And then we'll get rolling over here. So let's just kind of create like a lorem ipsum page or something so we can see how this works. So I'm gonna come over here and let's just do like paragraph lorem. All right, just press save. And it's trying to translate the page, which we don't care about. Cool. So we just chucked a paragraph in there. So far, it's following the baseline grid perfectly. Let's, you know what? No, because that's saying all sorts of stuff. I'm going to take a peek at something else really quick. This is totally off topic. Syntax, styling. Looking for HTML type stuff. Get HTML, boom, HTML only. And I started putting this together when Pug was called Jade. So let's do a find for Jade. And let's replace all instances of Jade with Pug. I mean, no one's really going to come across Jade anymore. How many instances are there? There's 3 found. It's annoying. I'm actually just going to do this longhand way. Do that one as Pug. Who knows? Might have some old files. Probably do. Cool. So where are all of them? There's those ones. pug. Oh, okay, then up here. Say save. Boom. All right, nerding out over here. Yikes. Cool. So we're just getting the syntax highlighting that I like. VS Code is dope. I love VS Code. I just love hacking things. So I've kind of like created my own theme system inside of Atom. We can talk about that later. Just do some fun tricks really quick. Let's see what theme I've got loaded up over here. All right, boom. So you can switch to like different themes super quickly. This is my Super Nintendo theme. What else do we have over here? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle theme. It's this one. I think it's called this like Dark Earth. Is that what it was? I think. Princess Peach theme. What else do we have in here? I already showed that one. Anyways, this is getting out of control. Let's just come back over here and stick with what we had. Cool. More about that later. Let me in a future video coming up soon. I'll talk about this theme editor I created inside of Atom. Super fun. All right. So we're getting, I just wanted these tags and attributes to be colorized. And it was working with Jade, but I just updated it, that package that I made, to also select Pug as well. Anyways, moving right along. So we got this paragraph. Let's get another one in here. Cool. It's a little long. Let's delete like a sentence or so. Cool. And I'm using this feature called text edit. Is that what it is? Text expander, where I've kind of set up these snippets, so I can just type these little keywords and press tab, and it'll expand to whatever I want. Cool. So I've got like 3 types of lorem ipsum going here. The original lorem ipsum, a hipster lorem ipsum, and a JavaScript ipsum. All right. So as you can see right now, just working with simple text and paragraphs, that everything is still falling within the baseline. And we're totally cool with that. But we are going to, let's just kind of throw that stuff. We'll put it at the bottom. Just leave all that alone. So let's say for paragraphs that we want to do a margin bottom of 1.5 rem, okay? And there we go. Cool. So there we get our spacing, and we know that on our root selector that we've set a font size of 20 pix and a line height of 1.5. So the way a baseline is created is by timesing those together, which yields 30. So 30 pixels. So our baseline unit is 30 pixels. Each one of these cells is 30 pixels high. So basically, we're adding margin bottom of 30 pixels. So one full baseline unit of space between each paragraph. All right, we're just going to kind of set text as this stuff goes. So let's come over here and let's kind of put some headings in here. So let's just say like H2, class of main heading. All right, we're going to say lorem. All right, we haven't. If we look back here at the styles, we've set everything to font size of 1 rem. Okay, so 1 rem is going to be 20 pixels. Okay, so all the text here is set to 20 pixels. We'll just set different sizes as we need, but I'd rather have everything like zeroed out and then change from there. Cool. So we got that heading in there, and let's come in here and say main heading, FC, font size into 3 rem. Okay, so basically we're making it 3 times as tall. So from 20 pixels to 60 pixels, and 60 respects this unit size of is a multiple of 30, which is our baseline height. So that spaces everything perfectly, and we're still following our baseline grid comfortably. So let's just kind of put a bunch of headings above these, just kind of indicate that there's different types. Hipster and JS. All right, cool. We added 3 headlines. Baseline height is still working good. Let's do a little subheading in here, and we'll say like H3. Subheading. So we can do like this for the rest of them. All right, so lorem and ipsum. Let's put some styles with these. Copy this. Oops. Main subheading. We'll do font size 1.5, I think. Main subheading. Wow. I got to get these double underscores, these dunders going. All right. Cool. Got those in. So line height for a font size of 1.5 rem. That makes them 30 pixels tall, which is also a multiple of our baseline grid. So everything is still looking good. It was looking good down to here. So I wonder what I did to mess that up. Let's inspect things a little bit. So things were cool until we hit down here. Looks good. Oh, okay. Well, this one's off, and this one's back on, and this one's off. And basically, the issue is that I need to fix the spacing under here because the everything has a line height of 1.5 as well. So I just have to make up the difference in my style sheets. So instead of spacing the each heading a certain way, which I kind of think becomes a mess, let's just wrap everything in inside a H group, and then we'll put the spacing. We'll make H group spacing unique. Aye. Instead of doing things different on all the different headings, I'd rather just leave the headings alone. So I'm going to come over here and say H group, margin bottom 1.75 rem. So let's see what that does. All right, cool. We're back online. Let's put a more spacing above. So T, margin top, say 3 rem. All right, cool. So we've got our consistent spacing going here. Everything should be falling where we want it to. And I mean, the thing that's kind of nice about having a vertical grid is you can tell where things are off, and just, if you don't want to do any math, you can just fiddle with things until things look right. So however you want to do it. Keep hacking it till you crack it, or do the math on it. Either way works. Cool. So we got some headings and some text going on, but we still got this kind of like crazy long measure. So let's wrap this whole thing in a main tag. All right. So let's come over here and style that main tag to, let's give it like a max width of, let's get back to this. Let's come over here, and since we're using using measure, let's just try to kind of like eyeball things. We're going to say data hyphen mzr and assign it to, say, 35, 55, and 65. All right, so save over here. Cool. So it's breaking down. I'll switch this back up to 75. All right, so let's open the inspector over here, and let's kind of find out what the width needs to be on this. Okay, so 690 gives us an average character width of 75 characters per line. Cool. So 690 is what I said. So we'll come over here, give a max width of 690 px, and let's do margin 0 auto to center this nicely. Margin, nice if I spell that right. Cool. So we have a nicer measure. That's nice to read and looks nice and clean. Not grossly running from edge to edge. All right, cool. Let's come back here, and I'm actually going to well, actually, this is all I got to do. And comment this out just for sake of using this other tool to see like what our characters per line actually is. All right, so 119. So currently, where we have the screen sized, it's we're getting 119 characters per line. You know, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. But as we kind of looked, we're just going to shoot for that 75 character per line size. Yeah, 75, 74. Cool with that. What else can we do here to kick this up a little bit? Let's say that we want to add a nav. Just say lorems. Okay. So we got this this nav in there, and let's put some style on this nav. Main column. Headings and H groups, say nav. Let's give it a background color of like charcoal, 333. We'll just use nested, nested styles, nested selectors. Say white, save that. Display inline block. Let's do the some padding on it. 0.75 rem on top and bottom, and 1.5 rem left and right. And let's get rid of that text declaration, set that to none. All right, cool. So we just added enough padding on top and bottom. So let's come over here and say 20 times 0.75 is 15. All right. So we added 15 pixels of padding on top and bottom of something was already fitting. So basically we just increased the whole height of this like another baseline unit. So everything's looking great over here so far. Let's do a little more with our nav. These don't really need to go anywhere. All right, so let's kind of do the thing where like we split the navigation to the other side. And we'll come back over here, go to our nav, and we want to display grid, right? Cool. And grid template columns, say 1 FR. So this first item takes up the maximum amount of space, and then we'll say max content twice. So basically, each one of these elements is only taking up as much room as they are wide. I think that works fine. Let's say JCC, justify content center, or I mean, that's center, space around. Cool. So we probably don't even need this yet since things are looking fine as they are. All right, cool. So just put in a little navigation there, and let's say that, what else can we do? Let's add some more content. Let's do a let's come over here. Just say more stuff, and let's say here we're gonna have isn't that what it is? Am I not getting my expansion to work? I think that's just like with regular HTML. Anyways, so we have regular lorem, we have hipster lorem, and we have JS ipsum. Could have done multiple cursors there. Cool. So got that set up. We don't really have any spacing underneath ULs, so let's just come over here, and we're just going to add ULs, and I guess we want OL as well to have that extra bit of spacing below of extra margin. So this is, you know, pretty simple and basic. We're just adding text elements, and as you can tell, like, I mean, we're not doing tons of like reconfiguration of like figuring out line height and stuff all over again with each heading. I mean, it's been pretty simple to add in, and when you set up your root element this way, it just, I mean, you're following a baseline grid as you go. So working with text has not been that difficult. Let's start adding some more elements that can make things a little more challenging. So let's add in a header. I can increase my brightness. Yeah, I'll do that. That's helping me. And just put an H1 in there that says lorem ipsums, sums. Pardon. All right, cool. So there's our modest little header, and let's kind of beef this thing up a little bit. Let's come over here to style. just call this like our little feature section. And I mean, I'm just working with like, you know, generic elements here. I'd probably give things different class names and whatnot on a real project, but I mean, this is just, you know, sketching around here, just working quick and dirty. So say display grid. Let's style this H1. Did I give it an H1? Yeah, I did. All right. And let's say, let's do a font size of 8 rem. So that's huge at the moment. Looks like we're still on baseline. Cool. Let's get a little text align center going. Cool. All right. Let's, for the sake of let's get a little background color going. So sweet. I mean, as long as we pick something that works, you know, we're just always going to stay on you know, baseline grid's going to work out fine. Well, let's do even more here. Let's say we don't really want to do this like background color. We're going to do a background image. And we're going to use this like lorem.png. All right, so we got this image back there. And let's just do background size, cover. Background position, center. You say it twice. Yeah, I think if I just say it once, that works both ways for vertical and horizontal. All right. So we, you know, want this image to take up a lot more space. So let's just say grid, template, columns. We're just gonna make this just like one big huge row. And say we want this 50 VH. VH, not HV. VH. Cool. And grid. Width 100%. I have to do that. All right, so grid template row. Is that right? Grid template rows. Come on. There we go, brain. All right, so right now it's 50 pixels I mean, it's has a viewport height of 50, so it's going to be taking up half the viewport height. We'll see here that it's, it's messing up our vertical rhythm. Start this back up again. At the moment, everything is, like right on the baseline. But if we resize the window, this image just isn't falling perfectly at a baseline size. Let's also get this text centered in here as well. So let's say, can I get, say, all right, can I cut this one out? Yeah. So line, item, center. So we got that falling in the center. It's kind of still hard to see what's going on in the background there. So let's have a little fun with this. And let's say, position relative on that. And let's make a pseudo selector. Display block. Height of 100% and a width of 100%. And position absolute. What else might I need to do here? Let's get a mixtape. Where'd that come from? Mix blend mode of multiply, and it should be showing up right in there. Sent content. Jesus Christ. All right, cool. So we got that showing up as green. And once we get that in, we can do other fun stuff. Linear, gradient, indigo, red, orange. Cool. Let's turn that 90 degrees. All right, cool. So the text is killing me too. Let's do color white. And right now, I believe that the text is sandwiched between the background image and this pseudo element we've created. So Z index, let's just say 3. All right, cool. And come over here, text, shadow, 3px, 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 charcoal. All right, just a little drop shadow in there. Cool. So thanks for sticking with me. Um, so, you usually find, featured images, headings at the top of your site or various pages. But we want to keep this to always be a multiple of the baseline unit, which is 30 pixels. So we want this to, even though we set it at 50 VH, we want it to then further resize to the nearest multiple of 30 pixels. So let's come over here, make sure that we've got rhythm set up, and if we just give it a class of resize, we should be good to go over here. So resize. And you barely even saw that work, but boom, there we are. It's being resized to a multiple of 30 pixels, the nearest, and everything is back on track. So what else can we do here? Let's kind of finish with one more item. We'll come down here and let's do like this. I think I left this in the README to use. So I need to pull this iframe, which I just grabbed from YouTube. All right. And we'll just chuck this in right here and see what happens. Let's grab some more of this stuff. I'll just say done for now. All right, just get some more stuff above it and below it, and you'll see. Maybe if I make this even longer, I'll just put some more lorem in there. All right, you'll see that as I added this this embed, this iframe from YouTube, it's now throwing the baseline rhythm off yet again. So I need to fix this. And the easiest way to handle these kind of responsive elements is just wrap them inside of a div, article, section, whatever, and we'll give it a class of resize as well. All right, so when I save this, boom, you can see that it was made responsive. Now it's fitting 100% of the width, and it's now to the nearest multiple of the baseline unit, and everything is back to working as before. All right. So that's basically how to use RDMKIT and doing all the things. We used measure to kind of figure out how wide we wanted this column, so we could fit it to a line length to a measure that we liked. We previously used the CPL tool to figure out how many characters per line we initially had before we set this column width. I think there was like 115 characters per line. We've been using this the entire time, this vert. You notice I've been using it below the whole time, so we couldn't see it at all over here because it's underneath everything. So if we wanted to kind of check the vertical rhythm in places where we have a background image hiding the grid, we can instead enable it on top of everything. So we can see how that works. All right. So that's vert. And then we added this like special header, this hero image up top, and we gave it a relative height of 70 viewport units. Let's I want to talk about 50 viewport units in height, and then we use the RDM plugin to resize this to keep everything to keep our vertical rhythm strict. And we added an iframe where we did the exact same thing with RDM. So just to make this make sense, let's say that we give this a class of things. All right, press save, and that's gonna, it's no longer being selected. So I'm gonna copy that. I'm gonna come back to the JavaScript, and we'll just do like this. Now we're selecting two different classes. All right, did I do that right? So I haven't done anything with this to make things. So let's like come over here, things, and because I want it to be responsive, I gotta give it a width of 100%. Things, and I want to give the iframe a width of 100%. So then it's, well, if you notice right there, it's just stretching it the whole way. But even if I come back over here and press delete, we still have its original width, but the you can see that it's still being resized correctly to keep the baseline rhythm, of the text that follows. So again, I'll come over here and I'll delete things from here. And you'll see that things that it's not the correct height to keep the vertical rhythm that we want. Put that back in. Cool. And then if I want this to span the whole width, we'll just do like that. So there you go. A little fun there towards the end. But this, this really isn't that difficult to use or to manage. All the CSS is super simple. And, out of all of this stuff that we put in here, I mean, these are kind of like edge case type stuff. But we can just, reduce it to like this much to set up the whole RDMKIT thing. That's it. I mean, that's, a minimal amount of CSS. And if you're not even like resizing images, this is kind of all you need. Done. Presto. So, yeah, that's it. If you have any questions, put those down in the comments. Find any bugs. Put the link to the GitHub repo for this and go from there. All right, stay awesome, you all.